They said I won't make it. Not just one person, everybody in my village. From the woman who sells pepper to my uncle who always smells like palm wine. They all said the same thing.
This boy just a dream. You not gonna make calm.
And honestly, they weren't wrong about the dreaming part. I do dream big, loud, dangerous dreams. Dreams that make people laugh and shake their heads like I'm mad. You see, I grew up in Umuokoro, a small village where everybody knows your name, your father's name, and even your great-grandfather's secrets. And in this village, dreaming is a waste of time. They believe your future is what your father did. So since my papa was a palm wine tapper, I was supposed to follow the rope. Climb the tree and tap the wine. End of story. But me? I wanted more. I wanted to see planes, not just see them fly over our sky like proud birds, but actually sit inside one. I wanted to design things, build things, maybe become an engineer. I didn't even know what engineers really did, but it sounded powerful. That was the beginning of my wahala. The first time I told my mother I wanted to be an engineer, she paused while turning Gary on the fire and said,
Engineer, with which money? Now first what I do? Now babes.
But I didn't stop dreaming. I started fixing radios in the village, broken torches, fans, even Mama Ngozi's old sewing machine. Anything I could open and scatter, I tried to fix. People started calling me the boy Wasabi Wire, but still, they laughed behind my back. When I passed WAEC, some said I cheated. When I got admission into a polytechnic, others said I would drop out after one semester. When I finally left for school, my uncle called me one night and said, better learn. Mechanic for that side. This book, no go carry you reach anywhere. But guess what? I didn't stop. Even when I was sleeping in uncompleted buildings during school breaks because I didn't have transport back home. Even when I hawked pure water and fixed people's phones just to survive. Even when I failed my first exam and cried like a baby in the hostel, I didn't stop. Because deep down, I knew if I fail, they win. And I no gree. Now I'm in my final year. I've built 2 tech prototypes that my lecturers use as examples in class. I run a small business online fixing gadgets. I've even been invited to speak in 3 other schools about my journey. But funny enough, my village people don't know all this. They still think I'm somewhere suffering. Still call me that. Bewego soon return. Still laugh when they pass my mother's shop and say,
Your son still they waste time for that polytechnic.
The first time I came home after 2 years, it was not planned. I had just finished my industrial training, and the man I was working under dashed me 10,000 naira. That 10,000 looked like 1 million in my eyes. I quickly used transport and came back to the village, not to show off, but to see my mother. I missed her as I entered the village on that hot Thursday afternoon, dust rising behind the Okada that brought me. I saw them. The same people, Mama Ifeoma, still at her pepper stand. My uncle, still holding his gourd of palm wine. Even Chidera, my childhood friend, now a tailor, who once told me, Guy, forget school, come learn work. They all saw me. Some looked surprised. Others just hissed. I walked straight to our compound, and the first thing I saw was my mother bending beside her cooking stove, fanning the fire with a broken plate. When she saw me, she didn't talk at first. She just stared. Then she shouted. She ran to me, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and hugged me tightly. The hug nearly broke my ribs, but I didn't complain. That hug was warmer than any food. That evening, word spread fast. Chuka is back! Some people came to greet me, but you could see it in their eyes. They came to confirm if I had failed or dropped out. Some asked small questions like,
You still did at your school? You never tire for that city life. You no one learn mechanic again.
I just smiled, because I realized something. They didn't hate me. They just didn't understand me. They were used to a certain way of life. You go school small, drop out, come back, marry, and start farming or trading. Anything outside that was madness. But I wasn't mad. I was focused. Later that night, while my mother served me ibe with bitter leaf soup, she looked at me and said something that made my chest tight. Chuka, you dey try. No mind them. Even me. Sometimes I no understand your journey. But I dey pray for you. That was all I needed. You see, I didn't need everybody to believe in me. I just needed one person, one prayer, one reason to keep pushing, and I did. After that visit, I went back to school with fire in my bones. I registered for a national tech competition. I stayed up many nights building a simple solar-powered charger for rural homes. And guess what? I won second place. They gave me a laptop, some cash prize, and a free training with a tech company in Lagos. That was the turning point. From that moment, doors started opening. People began to notice. Strangers online shared my project. Someone even said, "This boy from Nigeria will go far." But back in Umokoro, they still didn't know. They still thought I was a boy with big head and bigger dreams. They still said I wouldn't make it. But I'm not done proving them wrong, because one day, very soon, I will return again. Not on an Okada. Not dusty and tired. I will return in a clean car, maybe with a small camera crew, just for fun. And I will go to Mama Ifeoma's stand, smile at her, and buy all her pepper. Then I'll look at her and say, "Mama, your pepper go well with jollof inside air-conditioned kitchen." I didn't plan to go viral. All I did was post a short video on Instagram. It showed my solar-powered charger, the one I built for the tech competition. I just wanted to inspire a few students like me. But within days, boom, over 200,000 views. Comments from people in the US, UK, Ghana, South Africa. One man even messaged me saying, "Young man, I believe in your dream. I want to sponsor your next project." I didn't cry. I just laid down on my hostel bed and stared at the ceiling for a long time. Because for the first time, somebody outside my mother believed. Meanwhile, in Umokoro, things were happening. Suddenly, my uncle, who used to mock me, started telling people that my nephew did do well. Oh, I always knew he had sense. Even Mama Ifeoma, the pepper woman, now greeted my mother with, "Your son is lucky, oh. The boy get destiny." Destinika, just months ago, they said. That boy too, de form Oyibo. Now they were calling me our village pride. Funny how people switch when your story starts sounding sweet. I didn't let it get to my head, though, because the truth is I was still struggling. The journey wasn't soft. I was still sleeping with fan as AC. Still eating Gary and groundnut on most days. Still battling doubts and delays. But I was no longer alone. I now had a voice. I had proof that even a village boy with nothing but dreams can shake the world. Then came the big one. I got an email. It read, "Congratulations, you've been selected for our fully funded tech incubation program in Germany." Germany, as in the same Germany I used to draw flags of in primary school. That Germany. I ran out of the cyber cafe shouting like a mad person. People on the street looked at me confused. One woman said, "That be for this generation. Every small thing dem go shout, if only she knew." I didn't tell anyone in the village yet. I wanted it to be a surprise. So I planned my homecoming. Not with pride, but with peace. I entered Umuokoro this time in a clean Toyota Corolla, the car my sponsor helped me get. I wore a plain black shirt and jeans, no designer labels, just neat and respectful. But the dust still rose as I drove into the village, just like the first time. Children ran behind the car. "See big man! See big man!" Mama Ifeoma stood, mouth open. My uncle dropped his cup of palm wine, and my mother, she came out running. Wrapper barely tied, her hands on her head shouting, "Jesus! Jesus, is this my son?" I came down from the car, hugged her and whispered, "Mama, your prayers worked," she cried. But before I could say another word, people started gathering. Phones came out. Pictures started snapping. Somebody even asked for a selfie, and that was when I saw him, Chidera, my old friend, the tailor who once said I would drop out. He looked at me, shook his head slowly, and said, "Guy, I no go lie. I didn't see this coming. The end. Germany is waiting, because I did. New challenges are ahead. I always did. I've made it this far, not to stop, but to go even further. Because if a village boy like me can do it, anybody can. So the next time you hear someone say, 'my village,' people said I won't make it. Tell them, neither did mine. But I did anyway. Germany was cold. Not just cold, like Harmattan breeze in the village, I mean real ice inside your bones cold. The moment I came out of the airport, I almost ran back in. I was wearing the thickest jacket I owned, but this cold was not for the weak. Still, I smiled. Because I wasn't in Umuokoro anymore, I was in Germany, me Chuka from Umuokoro, standing in a land I only saw in textbooks. The first week was like a dream. Tall buildings, electric trains, clean roads, people walking fast like they were chasing time. Everything was sharp, precise, and organized. It felt like the future. I was staying in a student hostel with young tech minds from India, Brazil, Kenya, even Canada. We were all selected for the same incubation program. We had mentors, access to laptops that cost more than a plot of land, and daily workshops on innovation and design thinking. I won't lie. At first I felt small. These people were speaking tech grammar I didn't understand. They were using software I had never touched. Some had started companies. Me? I was just a village boy with passion. I almost gave up on the third day. That night I sat by the window, staring at the snow falling gently outside, and I remembered the words again. That boy won't make it. I clenched my fist. No, I whispered. I didn't come this far to doubt myself. From that night, I changed gear. I started staying up after classes, learning every tool they mentioned. I watched YouTube tutorials. I asked questions. I became the student who didn't sleep. Slowly, things began to shift. My ideas got better. I started building a prototype, a smart solar box that could power an entire kiosk in any rural area. Think of Mama Ifeoma and her pepper stall. Now imagine her stall with light, fan, and even phone charging all from one solar box. When I presented the room went quiet. Then the lead mentor said, "This is not just brilliant, this is needed." They gave me a round of applause. That night I cried, not because I was sad, but because I had carried the spirit of Umuokoro all the way to Europe. And it was winning. After that, interviews started coming in, invitations to tech expos, even German newspapers wanted to hear my story. One reporter asked, "What drives you?" And I said, "My village people said I won't make it, so I had no choice but to make it big." Meanwhile, back in the village, my mother became a local celebrity. People now came to her shop just to greet her and hear updates. My uncle now introduced himself as Uncle to the Boy, Wade, Germany. And Mama Ifeoma? She started calling her pepper stall Chuka's Corner. But deep down, I knew I hadn't reached my destination. Germany wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Because my goal wasn't just to succeed abroad. My goal was to go back and build something real in my village. To prove that success isn't just escaping your roots, it's using your success to water the same soil that raised you. I never left Umuokoro in my heart. Every time I stood in a clean tech lab in Germany, I remembered our broken generator. Every time I saw a smart vending machine, I thought of Mama Ifeoma's pepper basket. Every light bulb I saw reminded me of the darkness in my village when NEPA takes light. So after finishing the tech incubation program, I used my grant money, not to buy designer clothes or build mansion in the city, but to build something they had never seen before, a small tech hub in Umuokoro. I called it Dream Tech Center. It was painted sky blue with solar panels on the roof. Inside I placed 6 computers, 2 printers, 1 solar-powered generator, and shelves of books on technology, agriculture, and business. The idea was simple. Teach young people how to dream, and then show them how to make it real. When I returned, this time I didn't come quietly. I invited the whole village. We set up canopies, speakers, chairs. My mother wore a brand new wrapper and couldn't stop smiling. My uncle came early, wearing sunglasses like a celebrity. Even Chidera the tailor made a new outfit just for that day. When I stepped forward to speak, the mic shook in my hands, not from fear but emotion. I looked at everyone and said, "Some, if you didn't believe in me. But today, I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm here to show what happens when one person believes in himself and never gives up." People clapped. Some nodded slowly. A few wiped tears. Then I cut the ribbon. And from that moment, Umuokoro changed. Children who had never touched a computer before were now learning how to type. Young girls were learning graphic design. Boys who once mocked me were now volunteering to teach others. We started holding monthly tech boot camps. Students came from nearby villages. I even brought in some of my friends from Lagos and Germany to give virtual classes. We gave scholarships, We fixed solar lights around the village. We showed films in the evenings that taught farming with modern tools. And slowly, my village, people started saying something new. Who would have thought that boy really made it and came back for us? But me? I just smiled. Because this was the real success, not the flight to Germany, not the viral video, not the car. It was this, planting light in a place that once said I would never shine. The DreamTech Center was booming. Every evening, the compound was filled with children tapping on keyboards, laughing, learning, asking questions. Even parents started coming not for tech, but to understand what was changing their children's minds. But with success came problems. The first challenge was envy. Some elders said I was doing too much. One said, "He wants to take over the village." Another whispered, "He's spoiling our children with Oyibo sense." Then came the sabotage. One day, I walked into the center and found the solar cables cut. Someone had destroyed them in the night. Another time, our chairs were stolen. A few students stopped coming. Their parents said I was using juju. It broke me. I sat alone one night, under the same udala tree where I used to dream. And I asked myself, did I make a mistake coming back? But then, I heard footsteps. It was one of the girls, Ada. She used to sell roasted maize, but now she was the best in our graphic design class. She stood beside me and said, "Oga Chuka, don't stop. You're the reason I know I'm more than a village girl." That night, I wiped my face, stood up, and decided, let them fight me. I'll keep building. We replaced the stolen chairs. We installed CCTV cameras. I called for a community meeting, not to fight, but to explain what we were building. I said, "This center is not mine. It is ours. If you burn it, you burn the future of your own children." That speech changed hearts. Slowly, even my biggest critics became my strongest allies. Elders brought food during boot camps. Youths guarded the building at night. Umokoro had finally seen the light. And so we rose. Today, DreamTech Center has trained over 300 young people. Some now work in Lagos. One just got a remote job from Canada. Ada. She's now designing posters for big churches and wedding events across the state. And me, I still walk the dusty roads of Umokoro. Not with pride, but with peace. Because I did what they said I couldn't. And I didn't just make it, I helped others make it too.